Or do you want me to start
Well,
exactly at 7?
no. I'll give you a sign when I'll give everybody about 2 minutes to log in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, Bash, you know what? You're the boss of me. You must just tell me what to do.
Okay, cool.
Everyone's coming in.
Okay, everybody's coming in. I'm admitting everybody in. Tim, are you going live? All right, admitting all. We have now 45 participants, minus 17. That'll be our ops team. So we're looking at 30 people as participants. All right, we are now live. Welcome everybody to Town Hall. Well, I'm just a tech guy. We'll have a welcome speech coming in soon. I still see people are trickling in, so we're going to give another 2 more minutes before we start.
Mons,
Yeah.
your bookshelf looks great except for the pink travel cushion.
That is Chloe's. It's opposite her thingy. I'll move it.
While we're waiting for everybody to come in, I'm gonna switch off the chat for now, and then allow chat. I can't switch off chat. Okay, never mind.
No, you can't do it. Not in.
Now we're live. Yeah. Cool. Looks like we're resting around 57. Months.
I just need to tell the people in my house to be quiet.
Okay, sure.
Hi, guys. I'm doing a public meeting, so thanks.
Right.
Should we start? Well, there's still people coming in.
I'm ready. I think we're going to be resting around 57 participants, and yeah, it's good to go.
Cool. So is it me, Bash?
That is now you, over to you, Mons.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Monique. Just to introduce myself, I'm one of the founders of AfrikaBurn. Currently, creative lead, liaison, development. I do a lot of the work on the land stuff. And I'm here with a lot of my colleagues, Brian, Julia, Golden, Lorraine, Tim, Bash. But basically this town hall is really, I mean, it's been such a crazy time. I'm just like thinking back to the town halls that we had just after we cancelled. And it's very, it's quite a moment to kind of consider that we're gathering again very, very soon. In 2 weeks' time, the gates are open, which is not entirely undaunting. But John, lovely to see so many people on the call. And quite often in our town halls, we kind of do quite a bit of blah blah initially, but we I think the key around this one is that we want to hear your questions and answer any questions, because there's a lot of questions that people have around going to our new site about the COVID protocols, around what the actual town plan looks like, around all those kinds of questions. So so I think we do a combination. I mean, you can put questions in the chat, but it would be really nice to, if you just put your hand up, and actually we can engage with faces and voices on the internet, which is great. But also looking very, very forward to seeing everybody in in the flesh, in the heat, out there in the desert. Well, that is if it is hot. We were out there doing the Tree of Stories build, and it was 44 degrees every day for 15 days. But it's starting to get quite chilly out there again. So in terms of that, bring all the gear as per usual, because it's the desert. It's hot in the day and freezing at night, and wind and stillness and beauty and all the things. So I'm just going to kick off with, so if anyone has a random question or a pointed question or anything, just put your hand up even now, and Bash is going to kind of, is going to keep the speakers list, and then we'll channel your questions to the various people. But I'm going to start off with my most often heard questions currently is, what is the surface of the ground like? And I'm just going to tell you that it's variable. From super soft to super hard, and very much there's a layer of sand often, which is about that thick to that thick, and underneath that it's incredibly hard. It's cuck hard, and it's very, very hard to get your rebar in. But the beautiful thing, as usual, about that is that once the rebar's in, it stays in. So come wind, you will be kind of secure. So it's the other thing is, it is sandier. When we identified that site, there was a lot less sand on the site, and then because we live in a dynamic system, and obviously the whole Tankwa basin is quite ecologically kind of challenged through the years of overexploitation and overgrazing, and there was a fairly biblical wind that came in and deposited a huge amount of sand onto the site that we'd chosen for the event. And so it's been quite a challenge, kind of like shaping our town around that, and kind of having to make plans around how we're going to deal with the sand. So there definitely are new challenges coming, and we are looking forward to dealing with that.
Mons, I think one of the questions that came through on Facebook from Julian Raxworthy was, what is the dominant wind direction for pitching in relation to camp orientation, which sort of talks to what you're talking about now.
We're very lucky in that we had we had a weather station on that site, which was actually put there by the government. So we have 11 years worth of data on that actual very site, and it would indicate, and we have experience in this, that the predominant wind is northwest, well, northwest, and southeast, but predominantly northwest, and every now and then it's westerly, and very seldom is it easterly. So I would, if you're really concerned about wind, pitch your tent down on all sides except facing east. But obviously that's a little bit challenging depending on where you are in the city, because you don't really want to cut people off from actually being invited into your tent if you have a theme camp. But you'll work it out. We have published the kind of little wind direction things that we've made out of the climate data that we did get. So I want to answer the other two questions that keep being asked of me, except for the kind of surface of the ground, is there a sex camp? No, 6X is not going to be there this year, but I'm sure that they will be back soon. In fact, they will be back soon. They in fact are looking for property in the Tankwa for themselves. And then the other question is, will Bubbles and Bass be there? And the answer is no, but there will be a Bubbles and Bass pop-up at some point twice during the week. So yeah, but there's a lot of beautiful content coming. So yeah, keep heart. Do we have any questions so far?
We've got the big COVID question, which I think we should probably chat about.
Jules. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Julia for that.
And in games. All right, so everyone's been chatting about, everyone's been asking about COVID, and basically in terms of access to AfrikaBurn, we are following the government regulations that was sort of communicated to us by our president a couple of weeks back, which basically is that you're attending a 2,000 person participant, an event which has over 2,000 participants, which means that under current regulations, you're required to present either a vaccine card or a negative COVID test. So what does that mean? Firstly, we need to, because there's probably a lot of you on this call who are perhaps creative contributors who are going to be coming to site early and much early to build your artworks and theme camps and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. If you're arriving at AfrikaBurn before the 20th of April, so the AfrikaBurn gate is going to be established on the 20th of April. If you're arriving before then, regardless of your vaccination status, you need to present a negative COVID test. And the reason for this is because we need to ensure that COVID doesn't get on site and sort of run rampant within all our crews. So we've got a lot of crews on site that are building the city and of course building artworks. And if a whole bunch of crew go down with COVID, they are required to isolate, for 7 days. And that then obviously takes away from the crew that needs to build a city, which then makes things very stressful. So we're asking people that are arriving anything before the 20th of April. So these are big, large artwork builds that get permission from your department at AfrikaBurn to come on site. You need to present a negative COVID test. What type of test do you need to present? It can be a PCR test, a rapid antigen test, or a lateral flow test, which is the test that you get from the pharmacy. And so, so basically we're quite kind of lenient for the early people, and we ask you to sort of practice civic responsibility and don't try and sort of fuck with the system and, take your friend's COVID test and show us, because the point is to try and not have people arrive on site with COVID. So what you need to do if you're coming before the 20th of April, you have to send a list of the people coming on site. You have to give your your arrival and departure time to AfrikaBurn. You have to tell us why you're coming to site, and you need to let us know who has given you permission from the AfrikaBurn ops team to come on site. And then you need to send proof of your negative COVID test, and it cannot be longer than 70 hours or older than 72 hours. So if you do have the home test, the lateral flow home test that you got from a pharmacy, you need to just take a picture of your negative test next to you with the date stamp and send that through to bella@afrikaburn.com. You will all be getting this information in an email within this week, so don't worry about taking down the details. So that's for people arriving before the 20th of April. Then once the gate is established on the 20th of April, that is when we kick into what the regulations have said, where we only are asking for a vaccine card, or if you don't have a vaccine card, then a negative COVID test. But the difference here is that we're not accepting home tests, those rapid flow tests, home tests from a pharmacy, because they don't come with a certificate. So they need to be a test that you've gotten from some sort of testing center that has sort of proof that you've got a negative test. So that's what, and this unfortunately is a cost that you're going to need to bear yourself. In terms of kids, unvaccinated kids that are older than 5 years old, they also need to show the same thing. They need to also show a negative COVID test, which isn't one of those flow sort of pharmacy bought tests. So that's basically COVID. Well, that's how we're doing it in terms of gaining entry into AfrikaBurn. Does anyone have any questions? Let me look at do kids need to be vaccinated? No, they just need to, kids 5 years and older need to present a negative test if they aren't vaccinated. No, and then in terms of the tests that you're allowed to present after the 20th of April, it's basically a PCR test and a rapid antigen test, but a test that you've gotten from a testing center with a proper sort of certificate. I guess it's sort of the same requirements that airlines require you to have. So that's what we have. That's what we're asking for after the 20th of April. cool. Did you mean 25th for negative test? Yeah. So basically anything from the 20th of April up until the end of the burn is a vaccine card or a negative test, which is not a home bought or a pharmacy bought test. That's it. I think that's all. Who did we contact regarding need to go out? All right. So there's some other questions in the chat box. Does anyone want to actually just ask the questions with your voice? Robin?
Yeah.
Sure.
We need to go out April 18th and are in contact with Katie, but do we need to send someone else heads up in AfrikaBurn organization?
Yeah, so Issa, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, I asked the question.
All right, so basically if you need to go up before, if you've got a big artwork, then you need to check in with the creative portfolio, and the creative portfolio will give you permission to come to site early. Generally, we can't have people arriving before the 18th of April on site, because otherwise the site gets far too busy, and the DPW is still trying to sort of build the city at this point. But if you have got a massive artwork, which I'm sure you're working very closely with the creative portfolio, then you'll be able to come earlier than that. But basically early arrivals generally only start on the 18th of April up until the 24th of April. And just so everyone knows, on the 24th of April, which is the Sunday before the gates open, the gate closes at 7 p.m. So that the city can settle and brace itself for the onslaught the next day. We've got let me see, we've got Shanae? Is it Shanae?
Sorry, it's Shane, yeah.
Shane, sorry.
I just want to ask, I don't know if we're getting onto this topic. I've heard some horror stories about the road and the drive and that to get there. What is the kind of most realistic view? I mean, are people taking normal cars? Are they taking buckies, 4x4s? All I see is pictures of being uploaded of like slashed tires and sorts of things. And I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, is it as bad as everyone says?
Yeah, it's pretty cut, but I'm going to tell Mons is going to answer this question.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, look, I don't know. Have you been to the burn before, Shane?
No, this is our first time. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that the R355 has always been quite kind of epically challenging in terms of tires. For many years, I just drove my like Peugeot up and completely overloaded and never had a flat tire. And then one year I had like 4 flats in one go, which was somewhat challenging. But in fact, the R355 is not so bad at the moment. So the challenge actually is the road that you turn off of the R355 to get to Kwaggafontein, which is with the recent rain, it's been very, very degraded and it's very corrugated. We have been working very closely with the Series Department of Roads, and they have undertaken to grade that road prior to the event. So it should be happening soon. However, with the traffic on there, the road does degrade pretty quickly afterwards. So you don't need a 4x4 and you don't necessarily need high clearance. What you do need is patience and good tires, and don't overload the car. So if you go really slowly, don't go over 60 k's an hour, actively avoid the rocks on the road. I mean, not even rocks, just like little stones, because it's shale, it's upturned shale, which kind of, if it's turned on its side, it likes to pierce tires. I mean, the signage we used to always have on the road was this road likes to eat tires for breakfast, lunch, and supper. So don't be too scared, but I never do that road without a spare tire and a tire repair kit. So if you can, so it doesn't have to be a 4x4 and it doesn't have to be kind of, I mean, people have come in smart cars before, but you can just get a compressor and a tire repair kit, and you will never ever regret having those 2 items. and hopefully the roads will be graded. I know the R355 was busy being graded when I drove on it last, which was like a week ago. And then the secondary road is apparently going to be graded. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it kind of does. I mean, just it's a bit hit and miss by the sounds of things, eh?
Well, no, I mean, there's it is hit and miss, but there are very clear things where you just don't radically overload your car. I don't know about the health of your tires, but they should probably have good tread on them, and then just be prepared. Also, the other thing is a lot of people stop and help. You know, you're all in that together. But certainly the key ingredient is patience on that road. So drive slowly, take your time, don't risk your life. You know, the week is long.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
Sure. Good luck.
Thanks.
V.
This is Patsy. I've driven up in my Ford Figo, and Mons is absolutely right.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry, Patsy, we could hardly hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there we go. Sorry,
It's
V,
the
can you just
thingy.
let Patsy put her oar in, and then we'll take your question.
My 5 cents with. I've driven up with my Ford Figo before. I'm driving it up again. Secret is to take it and not overload. And here's the other secret: pack your spare tire, pull it out of where it is, and put it way on top, so that if you need it, you can access it very easily. And just nothing over 60. 60 is even fast. That's it. It can be done.
Perfect. Thank
See you in the dust.
you. Thank you.
V?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I hope everybody are doing well. One more question. It's my first time attending this festival. I'm so excited, especially because I will celebrate my birthday there. But I don't know exactly like what is going on like in terms of the attractions. For example, you don't have a lineup, right? Like DJs. Are these attractions just like in row? Are just the campsites on roll of this, or what else?
So V, I mean, one of the key things is that the thing about AfrikaBurn is that essentially it's an experiment. It's not, you know, we don't line up entertainment by which to entertain anyone by. AfrikaBurn, we create the space on which everyone can bring their gifts, and the gifts can range from a tray of cookies all the way to a massive sculpture, all the way to a beautiful dance floor. And so we don't kind of consider them attractions. That's a kind of a language we don't really use as relates to AfrikaBurn, because we're not trying to sell anything. We're trying to create a space in which we can play and co-create this beautiful little town together. So in fact, we actively discourage the DJ lineup. So what we do encourage is that you arrive on site with low expectations and be titillated and incredibly subject to whimsy and coincidence and all those kinds of things. So what people do is that they write up their lineups and their activities in their camps. There's also the thing called the What the Fuck Guide, which you will be handed at the gate. And as much as you can schedule stuff at AfrikaBurn, because it can be very challenging, like you can schedule stuff up the wazoo and a wind comes through, or something happens, or suddenly a flaming rhino drives past and you decide to actually follow that thing rather than do, you know, serve the tea that you'd chosen to serve or whatever. And so basically it's really to be in that space. It's to look out and see what's going on. But there are pro tips. If you see like fire service vehicles with red lights going, then you know that there's probably going to be a burn in that area. We do have a burn schedule. And also just speak to people and wander around the town a lot, and you'll start working out what people are offering at what time. So I don't know if that answers your question, and if anyone else wants to add in. Danny, I could see you. Danny, do you want to say something? You're on mute.
Yes, okay, hi. I just wanted to know when the What the Fuck Guide is coming out.
Well, we hand it out at the gate.
Okay, so is it being printed at the moment, or can I edit mine
No,
online
you
at the
definitely cannot edit your thing. That flew the coop weeks ago, right, Brian? Shame, Brian seemed like a huge.
Danny, I'm even unmuting myself just to tell you off.
No.
Oh, thank you, Isa. I'll be sending out flyers. I'll be walking around all the camps going, come see us, come see us. No, I agree with Mon, is that, I mean, every day is a new day and you should make it up as you go along, and there are glorious things to be found.
Good. Thank you. Caitlin?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Cool. Hi, everyone. My question is a follow-up with the road. How long is the section of no reception?
It's pretty much all of it, really. So as you get, so if you're coming from Cape Town and as you hit the dust, that's the last kind of cell phone reception that you get. And so that is probably about 110, 120 kilometers of no reception.
It's like the majority.
It's the majority. The one thing is that the
Okay.
Padstal has got free Wi-Fi. So like the protocol that we do with our team when we're driving up is we let everyone know when we're hitting the dust, and then if we stop at the Padstal, we let our people know that as well, so that if there's something going on, people will know when the last time you clocked in was. They were at the Padstal at 3 o'clock and now it's 10 o'clock, and where the hell are they? So, but also remember that there will be no reception on site. So yeah, send that message.
No, I know
people.
that. It's more of like, if you get into shit on the road, what then?
Yeah.
Like, how long are you in shit for?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Can I just
Julia?
say on that note, coming to the gate, the event gate, please make sure that you've downloaded your ticket. You have the little picture of the barcode, because there's no reception on site. And the other thing is, make sure you don't use your phone battery up on the way to AfrikaBurn, so that you can't show us the ticket either. That's me. I think Jean Roux.
Jean Roux.
Hi, it's Christelle here. I just want to ask, it's our first time going, and I volunteered at the sanctuary, and I'm on duty the morning of the Monday from 6 till 12. But are we only allowed to arrive on Monday, or can we be there on Sunday already? How can I be there at 6 on Monday morning for that shift?
Hi, Jean.
Christelle.
Sorry, I see there's a bit of feedback. You're welcome to email me.
Okay.
And then I'll sort you out with the early access pass, okay?
You're on mute, Sean. I mean, Christelle.
No, sorry, I'm Christelle. I'm sorry, I didn't see your name when you were talking. Who do I email?
It's Kay. So you should have received an email from me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you so
Great.
much. I'll do that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, we had another question from V.
Yes, the last one. I bought my tickets from my friend because he and his wife, she's pregnant, so the baby's coming. So, but he doesn't know exactly what he needs to do to transfer the ticket to me. Could you give me some orientation about this, please? Thanks.
Go, Jules.
So firstly you can email Cricket and they can help you with this. You can phone them or email them and they can do it for you. But alternatively, you can log into your Cricket account. So make sure you've logged into your Cricket account and then go to the little section. There's a drop-down box that says My Tickets. So your friend needs to do this. Your friend whose wife is pregnant needs to log into his Cricket account, go to the drop-down box where it says My Tickets, click on My Tickets, and then he'll see his AfrikaBurn ticket there. Then underneath the ticket, there's a whole line of sort of instructions, and one of them says transfer ticket. And then he transfers ticket, and he just follows the prompts from there, and he needs to put the ticket into your name. You'll then get the email, and then you need to download that ticket and redeem that ticket from him. Put in all your details and that kind of stuff. But if you've got any problems, just contact Cricket at support@cricket.co.za, or you can call them. Does that help?
Mpilo.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Cool. Mpilo.
Hi guys.
Hi.
So I had almost the same question as V, asking about the how to transfer someone's ticket, because someone said they're not going. And then, so do they send the link that they got from the Cricket?
No.
And then how
so,
does it work if someone already paid for the ticket?
So there's if you're getting your ticket from someone, so you're not getting it through the resale ticket thing on Cricket. So
No,
you
already paid for the ticket for the one person. So, but he said he's not going anymore. So now we trying to.
Yeah. So sorry, who paid for the ticket?
So we going as a group as our workshop. So Heath Nash
Yeah.
already paid for everybody's tickets.
Heath
But now
Nash
the one
did, okay.
person said the one person said they're not going anymore, and we're trying to get the ticket to someone else.
Okay. So basically, he can put his ticket up onto resale on Cricket, but I think Mpilo, rather email me, julia@afrikaburn.com,
Okay.
and we'll deal with that. I think it's a little bit more complicated than
yeah.
than here.
Thank you very much, though.
Cool.
We've got 3 people in the peanut gallery there. Yaku Minar. Hi.
Thank you. There's actually more of us. The camera lens is just not wide enough.
We love it. Lots of people. Awesome.
So we've got 3 questions. The first question is the Sunday night. Can we sleep on the road in front of the gate?
Yeah, we've got a camp called Ja But No But Camp, which is next to the gate. And if you arrive and you don't have a work access pass, or you arrive after 8 p.m. After 7 p.m. on Sunday, then you go and camp in the Ja But No But Camp, and then you basically you can get in sort of first the next morning. It becomes quite a vibe at that camp, actually.
That's good news. Then second question is, what time does the gates open on Monday?
At 9 a.m.
With a bang. It opens with a bang.
Yeah, we need to speak to you.
First in that queue, so.
Sure, then come the night before.
And then the last question is, during the week, can we go out for more supplies and stuff, or are we locked in there for the week?
No, you absolutely aren't. So when you arrive, you get a wristband, and once you've got your wristband, you can come and go as you please. But I would seriously recommend you don't, because
we discourage that.
Because come radically prepared with everything you need. Also, just that you don't want to drive the R355 more than you have to. You're gonna something's gonna happen on that road, and you'll go off to go get some fresh milk and come back 28 hours later, having four blown tires and
and a serious case of FOMO, because you missed the best thing that ever happened at AfrikaBurn while you were buying fresh milk in series. Don't do it. Just bring all the shit you need. And
the concern is the amount of water, because you can only get that amount of water into the car and the caravan. So
just don't use more. Just use less water. Don't bath.
So my experience of
every now and then.
My experience of AfrikaBurn is that you always drive home with water. I've never run out of water at the burn, and I used to arrive in a City Golf Chico. You'll be fine, I promise you. And if all else fails, yes, you can leave and go and buy water in series and come back because you've got your wristband, as long as you don't take your wristband off. But I wouldn't sincerely suggest you don't do
that. I'm just going to answer a couple of questions on the chat here. Is the new site closer to Calvinia or closer to Ceres? So interestingly, the Stonehenge site was like exactly equidistant from Calvinia and Ceres. So I think this time we ever so slightly closer to Ceres, but it's pretty much the same because we're not very far from Stonehenge. We are about 25 kilometers south as the crow flies, but slightly off the road. So, I mean, off the R355, like further than we used to be. And then there's also the question about the route to drive from Johannesburg. And I have to say that the route through the north, like to Calvinia, is very beautiful, but unfortunately the Northern Cape is so radically under-resourced that the northern part of the R355 is absolutely hellish. So in fact, the Clan and the Tree of Stories and the Temple are all being built by Johannesburg crews, and all of them, and they've been in the desert now, a lot of them drove down, and they completely concur that coming on the N1 and turning right after Toes River is the way to do it, and then coming from the south on the R355, because the R355 up to where we are is still serviced by the Western Cape, so it still does get graded, but the Northern Cape hardly does, and it's really a kind of like bone crushing, kidney belt wearing experience. Not that it isn't anyway, but it's even worse. So yeah. Julian.
Yeah, hi. Just wanting to ask about work access passes. I noticed that we got the email saying that they were allocated, but when I went to Quicket just now, I noticed that they are actually, it says there are 0. Maybe who would I talk to check out what that disjunction is about?
So you were allocated work access passes, but they're not in your inbox.
Yeah, I got an email saying you've had them allocated, and then when I went to allocate them to people, it said on Quicket you have 0.
Oh, right. I don't know who allocates who you've been organizing. Anyway, you can email Julia at AfrikaBurn.com and I'll look into it. But also try logging into Quicket. That might be an issue.
Log into what, sorry?
So when you click on the link in your email, make sure that you've logged into Quicket.
I know I have logged in, and that's
you definitely haven't. Just says
email you then, Julia at
AfrikaBurn.com.
Sorry, can I interject here? Julian, what are you part of an artwork or a theme camp?
Yes, I'm the lead for Camp Delicioso.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, maybe Julia can help. Otherwise,
I did allocate those this afternoon.
Yeah, so maybe it's an error or something, but it just when I went there, it just says 0. So
I'll try reallocating them again and just resending the email.
Thanks very much, Kathy.
All right, pleasure.
Is that Christelle again? Jean-Rue, Christelle? Oh, not Jean.
This time it's Jean, the owner of the account.
Okay.
What happens at night, every night, and is it sort of every night something going on, like something being burned, some place to go? Does it build up to a crescendo? And what is that crescendo? What night is that crescendo?
Well, I mean, the universal answer to everything is it depends. It's a very personal journey. But like I said earlier, there's no hard and fast schedule except for what people generate. The good people of Tankwa Town who are bringing all of their content actually do. So read the What the Fuck guide when you get to site. Brian, are we going to publish that before, or are we going to just wait until people get to site?
We're still deciding. It might be a nice Easter surprise, but we don't want to give away too many secrets before. But we'll see. Watch this space.
Yeah, Jean, just get in there and throw yourself in it. Yeah. Peak early. It's a good model.
And by the way, that's my wife's question. I didn't care. Okay.
Oh. That's hilarious. Okay. Mpilo?
Oh, once again, it's me. So there was also another question about the guys. So the guys, some of them do not really want to get vaccinated, but they do want to come. So is there any other way to prove that you are COVID-free? So if you do the test, would it be valid, or how would it really work? Because some of the guys, due to personal reasons, they don't want to get vaccinated.
So people that are not vaccinated just need to present a negative COVID test at the gate, and this needs to be, the test needs to be, you have
Valid.
to go to valid, yeah, from a testing center. So it's not one of those tests that you get from a pharmacy and do yourself at home, not a home test. It has to be from a testing center.
A doctor, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, and also, wait, there was also another question. So if some of the people also have like one, they could go, some of them are willing to go, so they would only be able to get one jab. So
well, there's two types. You can opt to get the Johnson & Johnson, which is just one jab. But if you've only received the Pfizer, which requires you to have two jabs, then unfortunately you aren't fully vaccinated, and you're still going to need to show a negative COVID test. But if you are not vaccinated and want to get vaccinated to be able to come to AfrikaBurn, then please ask them to vaccinate you with the Johnson & Johnson vaccination, because that's only one jab. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. There you go.
Do we have
anyone else? Yeah, we've got some questions on the chat box, which I've sort of been answering. Two people have asked, how many people do we expect on site? I imagine there's probably going to be, with a little bit of drop-off, something anywhere between 6,300 to 6,500 people on site. So it's going to be a nice kind of small burn, which I think we've all been after for ages. The other thing, the gate, Shane was asking, will the gate be manned from the Wednesday onwards? The gate opening times are from 9 till 1 a.m. up until Thursday. And then on the Friday of the event, it's open until 7 p.m. And then we close the gate for the whole weekend. And it closes on Friday completely, and you can't arrive on the Saturday of the event. Yeah, there's arguments about the tire pressure on the road. Just carry on arguing. Yes, ice will be for sale from Wednesday onwards. Yeah.
Julia?
Yes.
Sorry, ice will be on sale from Monday.
Oh, from Monday. Okay.
Monday to Saturday.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Patsy. Sorry about that. Yeah, so the ice is from sale from Monday to Saturday. Brilliant.
Yes,
and what are the ice hours, Patsy?
11 to 1.
11 to
so
1.
What we'll do is we will sort out the themed camps from 10 to 11, and then general sales 11 to 1.
11 to 1, and cash only, hey?
Cash only, baby. Cash is king.
You have an idea of the pricing yet?
Ooh, good question.
Is Michelle in this call? Where is Michelle?
We'll know the price probably in a day.
Yes. Mons, did you answer the question about which is the best route to drive from Joburg?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, man. I remember that now.
Fine. Okay, we've got Peanut Gallery and Julian.
Am I Peanut Gallery and Julian, or is there Peanut Gallery?
No, you, Julian, and then we've got from Yaku.
Yeah, it's just this. I mean, obviously, you guys have had this sort of centralized tank thing happening, and we're just wanting to know in terms of the plumbing connections whether the tanks are JoJo tanks, just so that we can connect properly for what we're using our tanks from, and because we haven't been able to interact directly with tank people.
Yeah, we had a meeting probably a couple 2 hours ago, and confirmed that they pretty much are JoJo tanks. Yeah.
And in terms of sizing, if we kind of assume the sizing that would be normal for a JoJo tank, we can kind of use that and go by that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, the Peanut Gallery has grown. Yaku Mana's group.
Yeah.
Hi. Do you guys have another question?
We do. So at the gifting, so we don't have a theme camp. We just have normal camps where this is our first AfrikaBurn, so we want to see what it's all about. But we hear that we have to do something about gifting. What is the ideas around that? And have you got some examples that we can use to set up our gifting?
Hells yes, you can volunteer for any of our requirements. Sorry, Gulden, I saw your hand go up. Do you want to take that, Gulden? Anyway,
No,
so I mean,
yes, thank you. Carry on.
yeah, I mean, look, the gift economy is it's a beautiful thing. It's a very gratifying thing to gift your time or your talents or whatever, and really anything goes, from handing out, you know, a tray of gin and tonics or pina coladas or, you know, tea or cookies or a back rub or a foot massage, or like this, the one great gift was like they just offered hair washes too, and like, oh my God, what a popular camp. It was, you know, people going, oh my God, wash my hair, you know. So anything goes, and you really do not have to be a theme camp to gift. You know, trinkets or any part of yourself. And as I was saying earlier, we are, you know, there's a lot of roles, volunteer roles that we need. So for example, greeting, gate shifts. I know Julia needs people to fill gate shifts. And ironically, like these are such fun things, gate shifts actually. Like people never think that working at the gate is going to be fun, but it's actually shit tons of fun. Because also you get a lot, you at that point where people are arriving and they're all wide-eyed and they've just like survived the R355 and like 3 tire wall bursts and like 5 people stopped to help them, and then they had like a little gin party on the side, like whatever, you know, there's always these whimsical things that happen, and then you arrive at the gate and it's a very lovely interaction. There's good playlists and good vibes. Greeting is the same thing, but maybe as newbies, greeting isn't your shtick. I think, Patsy, do you need people to work in the ice queue?
Ice is fully signed up. I mean, it's,
oh, really?
it's the, well, so just for all of those virgins next year, sign up quickly because it's the coolest shifts.
Literally,
and
yeah.
it's literally,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's completely full.
Woo! Box office shifts are pretty fun as well.
Yes,
yeah, I just want to say that I share the sign up shifts links. We need most of the place in the leave, moving the leave no trace, the
leave no trace is very important.
And the the toilets needs help. Please sign up, and 1 burner, 1 shift, please. Thank you.
Yeah, Danny.
Yes, I'm dying to talk. Okay,
I want to teach you something. At the bottom of your screen, there's a thing called reactions, and you press on that, and there's a little hand, and it'll put you in the queue. Anyway, go. All right.
Okay, so these are for all the guys, all those 5 guys at the bottom. So for the last couple of years, I've been collecting Calcivita tubes and champagne corks to make little portable ashtrays, which I saw from someone called Liz Linsell. She went to Burning Man, and she had these like really cool, like little portable ashtrays. So I've got about 200 of them. So that's my gift, but I'm also volunteering big time. So yeah. So I mean, you know what? One of the best gifts I've ever seen was someone spraying ice cold water at me with like lavender in it on a hot day. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah,
Seriously. Mister.
And then the other thing is also just keep your eyes open. You know, you'll see someone struggling with someone and just like pitch in and help them. You know, someone's beating rebar in or trying to lift something or whatever, just go and help. Like that, we're a community, and really this is where the relationship, because AfrikaBurn is about relationships and these connections that we form, and we do that through shared struggle. And we make, and you know, it's intentionally hard. Like we didn't choose the desert for no reason, you know, like it's incredibly beautiful, but that space rubs up against you, and it really creates these incredible bonds between people when you are pushing through hardship together. And certainly, you know, coming in fresh and helping a creative crew who are absolutely shattered, or cleaning up a dance floor for someone, because very often the dance floors get, you know, the people dancing, it gets kind of powdery and it's quite a challenging place to clean up. You know, these are incredible gifts. And then also, you know, processing the rubbish too, like going, you know, bringing a bag along and then actually taking it away, so that these people are offering these like larger gifts. these more kind of complex gifts, sorry, not larger, can, actually get this respite, so just keep your eyes open, be helpful, and, sign up for shifts. We've got Alexi.
Yes, hi, sorry, I was looking for my unmute button. Question for you. So my partner and I here are going to be just married right before coming to the burn, and we were wondering if we could also, I heard that previously there was like a chapel or something like that at the burn where they were doing ceremonies. Is that still a thing, do you know, or something like that?
Well, there is the temple, which
right.
very, very often people do to get married, do ceremonial stuff and that kind of thing. And so I would connect with the temple crew. It's called Gaia's Song.
Okay.
And I'm sure you'll find them there. They want to activate the temple a lot with a lot of ceremony and stuff. In fact, Frank, I just see Frank popped up here. I don't know if Carmel's on the line.
I'm not sure either, but I just popped up for this very question, and I think that we can definitely help you. Hello, Danny.
Sweet. Awesome. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, so we'll definitely sort you guys out. No problem.
Cool.
Fabulous. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
So can I add one thing about weddings? We are going to have a purple wedding this year.
Yeah, there is the purple wedding.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right.
Okay.
Cool. Fab. Thanks, Issa. Reno Smith.
Hello. Okay, yeah, I just asking, it's my third time at the burn and also normally I volunteer at the hack and I'm again at the hack, but normally when you volunteer you do get early access, but that hasn't been communicated or anything mentioned on your website, because that was a big selling point to me to volunteer the second time I went there, because it was the same problem of arriving on the Sunday and trying to set up camp and all that stuff, being part of a theme camp. And then I did ask, I do have a DTT ticket, so I have my WAPs and all that stuff, so I'm getting earlier on, but I just thought of asking that for other people to encourage more volunteers.
Yeah, Rano, once all the shifts are kind of full, I'll do one big blast of WAPs to people before the event.
Because I saw, okay, last time I checked at the hack, what I volunteering on Monday morning, I think there was only 2 names. I haven't checked it this week or last week, so I don't know if there's.
Okay, yeah, I haven't checked. Let's check again.
Issa Marquez.
Yes, sorry. I was talking to someone else. I didn't hear the question.
Oh no, your hand
there
is
wasn't one. Your hand is
Oh,
up.
sorry, that was before. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I forgot to put it down.
Cool.
I was responding to WhatsApp messages now.
Cool. So this is apparently our 10-minute call. Do we have any more questions?
Jean is asking, where does the AfrikaBurn logo come from? And what's its meaning?
Logo.
You tell him, was.
Yes. so there are some words which we don't really use as relates to AfrikaBurn. It's things like marketing and logo, but yes, essentially it is a logo, but but we call it the signifier. And so I don't know if you know much of the history about AfrikaBurn, but we are an offshoot of, we are inspired by Burning Man. And when we started, Burning Man encourages people, it's a very open source kind of model. And so Burning Man encourages people to, get their own signifiers. They burn the man. And so we wanted a distinctly African thing. So some of the central effigies or the signifiers at different kind of regional burns in the world are like, one is just it's a piece of toast. It's like called burning toast or a giant mealie. Anyway, we were inspired by it's a sand rock painting which occurs quite frequently through South Africa. I think there's about kind of 4 or 5 that are recorded in the archaeological record, and it's the one torso with many heads and many legs, and it kind of signifies. The archaeologists kind of like thought that it signifies a group of people moving in the same direction, and a cluster of humans. And so at the time, the Community Arts Project was using that image. Actually, no, not at the time. for a long time prior to that. The Community Arts Project in Woodstock was using that image. And so we asked them if they would mind if we used it as our signifier. And they were fine. And we went through the South Sand Institute, could we use it? And so that's how we decided on using that kind of image. And through the years, we just let people interpret it in different ways. And yeah, I don't know if that's enough of an answer, but I like the kind of reinterpretation of it. I also like, the thing is that we can also change it. You know, if at any point people feel that it's not, you know, an applicable kind of image for us to kind of rally around, we could change it, you know. There's no holy cows here, but I do know a lot of people are fairly emotionally attached to it. It's quite a challenging item to turn into a sculpture. I'm not going to lie, but it's happened 13 times.
Thank you.
Yeah, Julian.
Yeah, just a question about the camp layout. We've part of the crew that are getting containers dropped in this time. We hear that that's the 18th. Will the layouts be on site for that in terms of where we locate them? Because we're having issues, and I know the container thing is a separate thing, but even so, we're having a bit of issues about getting people to camp to site for the 18th when it needs to be there. And we're also concerned that the actual physical layouts on the ground by DPW, will they be done by the 18th so that we could send a diagram or something? But just wanting to get a sense about where the camp will be on the 18th in terms of layout.
So it started today. And it should be done. In fact, I'm going up on Wednesday to complete it. And yeah, it'll definitely be done. I mean, you're a little bit complicated because you've asked for more space at a time when we've already done our hellish Tetris exercise. So we'll see what we can do. Yeah. We're going to get entirely more strict next year.
It's also that there was no kind of physical layout for us to make a bid against previously, so it was a bit complex, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the answer is yes. It'll be ready.
Thank you.
Sure. Mpilo?
So I saw a message on the chat box that it's about waste. So we also had a problem in 2019 about water waste, and like you wash and then you don't know what to do with it. We tried to figure out, we had a whole experiment we were doing about like evaporating the water. But like, is there any other way that we could deal with that? Especially now when there's chillers and there's over 50 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we like
we're a little bit behind in our kind of communication. So just here's some background information: is that our team is incredibly small compared to what it used to be, and kind of being on the new site has been fairly challenging. But generally so our grey water plan is kind of nearly finished, and we will be sending it out. But basically, spraying it on the road, so dispersing it on the roads, because it acts as kind of like dust dampening. So the whole thing is that if it reaches a certain amount, and depending on the dirtiness of the actual water, but the thing is that with the kind of more or less people using about 5 liters of water per person per day, that's actually totally fine to spread it on that land. In fact, kind of the advice that we've gotten, and in fact, once we know whether this town plan works, because we don't want to put in any kind of like infrastructural elements until we know that it's going to work, and certainly we definitely going to have to tweak it. But as soon as we've done that, we actually want to put in some reed beds to be able to take grey water in the future, which is one of the advantages of having our own land, is that we can actually do these kind of idealistic things, because moving water off that site, you know, is a silly thing. So the water table is quite deep, so you're more than welcome to. So the key with the grey water is to disperse it. Don't let it just run out in a river. It's to kind of spray it over the roads, that kind of thing.
What we did was we took a cloth and then we just hang the cloth, and we keep on dipping it, and then we hang the cloth so it evaporates. It doesn't.
That's amazing. I mean, the evaporation ponds. The evaporation ponds.
Sorry. Okay, you can talk.
No, the evaporation ponds are great, but the thing is that because we're in autumn, sometimes it's not hot enough to lose enough volume. And so you feel free to put it on the ground, but just disperse it if you can. If you've got very low tech kind of system, just a watering can is a great thing to do.
And it would be a good idea to bring spray bottles.
Spray bottles, watering can, whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope
Thank
that
you.
helps. Sure. I know. So the biodegradable products is a thing. Like we do ask people to bring biodegradable products. The one thing that is comforting around the fact that some people won't do that is that we are a much smaller number this year, and the actual environment that we're in is ideal for breaking down these kinds of chemicals, etc. It's great for creating human manure. It's great because it's a very dry, very weather intense space. And what it does is it really, I mean, we just leave like any item out there and it completely breaks down in a couple of, like it's a very harsh environment. So it does get processed much faster than in other places. So that's the one comfort that we have around that. And also because of the water scarcity of the site is that people aren't using that much product per person. You're not having an hour-long shower with like soap suds and stuff like that. You're doing, I mean, most of us are doing 5 liters, of shower. I see Frank's doing a little demonstration there. I'm just checking the evaporation systems. Yeah, like I said, the evaporation systems can be a little bit challenging because sometimes it's not hot enough. I mean, certainly it was great during the build 2 weeks because it was 44 degrees every day. But yeah, we still, and then the other thing is that those dune systems that have landed on site are going to be great sinks for water as well because the sand acts as a filter. So keep that in mind. If you're close to a dune system, you can spray your water into the dune system. You can gift your water to the various plants that are still on site. They will be very grateful. But we do have some chemical engineers working on it. And yeah, we'll definitely have a far more kind of comprehensive system soon. Colin Banks. And then we're actually 2 minutes over, so we're going to shut down after this. Is that okay?
Thanks, Monique. Just a quick one. You did start off by mentioning about the sand and everything like that. Is that still suitable for bikes and bicycles and the like, or is the sand too thick for that?
So the thing about it is that there's still that kind of exposed bedrock thing that we had at Stonehenge, but it's interspersed with sandy patches. So there's sand traps. So I don't know if you remember at Stonehenge, we used to start, those kind of desire lines started developing. You would see like a route that someone had driven a lot and found a kind of a path across the sandy patch. And so the ratio of sandiness to hardness is slightly different. Like it was definitely harder at Stonehenge because, as I said, during that kind of biblical weather event and all the sand was deposited onto the site. And then, by the way, that was followed by rain, so that sand doesn't want to leave again. But I mean, the rain does also make it slightly harder. But I think what's going to happen, I think the bikes are going to look. The whole thing around this new site is that we've had like maximum 40 people on site. We've had smaller events where there's been 120 people, but they've been much smaller. So we actually, this period, us doing this first event there is us going to school. So having up to 6,500 people on site is going to be teaching us. We're going to see whether these nice design lines do start, like it certainly happened during build week. You start kind of driving one route and then people start riding it, and then you can actually see, okay, from one hard patch to another, and you can get from here to the temple, so it's really, I mean, fundamentally the fact that AfrikaBurn is this experiment, it's now an experiment on steroids for this year, and you are all scientists and you're all going to work it out with us. And we need your help, and we need people to be inventive into kind of working out solutions and helping each other. And because there's stuff that we simply cannot anticipate. Sure. which we experienced at Stonehenge as well. I mean, the first year we went out there with like a handheld auger thinking we were going to dig toilets. And it was like, okay, this thing does not work.
That ain't gonna work.
Like never ever, plan
Okay,
B, plan C, plan Z. So I think bring your bikes, give it a try.
Yep.
There certainly are little roads here and there which you'll have fun riding, and yeah, so it's all an experiment.
Cool, awesome, thank you.
Sure.
Wow,
And should we call it a day? Yeah. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you very, very soon. And Gulden is trying to impress upon everyone that she wants one burner, one shift.
Amazing.
Lovely. Thanks, guys.
Cool, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks to all of that.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
See you in the
Bye.
dust.